Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome back to our channel once again. William Ruto is very angry and William Ruto is very bitter. Why do you think William Ruto is bitter and angry?
Kuna mtu amekosa kunyamba kwa sababu alikuwa vaccinated? What kind of nonsense are we engaged in? We want to export our leather products, but the impediment is the level of disease prevalence, and that is why it is necessary for us to have a national campaign to make sure that we get rid of diseases so that we can expand our market and our products can access international markets. I want to ask leaders who have no knowledge, who have no understanding, who have no plan, to spare us their ignorance. Because they cannot continue to mislead the country. You cannot use propaganda. You cannot use disinformation and fake news to deny the people of Kenya international markets by discouraging disease control in Kenya. Na unajua wale watu wanaendesha hizi porojo ni watu ambao wanataka umaskini iendelee katika taifa letu la Kenya. Sasa wewe, chanjo inafanywa hata ya binadamu. Hakuna mtu Kenya hajakuwa vaccinated. All our children are vaccinated. All of us are vaccinated. Now, surely, if it is not dangerous to vaccinate human beings, how is it dangerous to vaccinate animals? Mimi nauliza hawa watu. Na wanasema mambo ya ajabu, ridiculous things. Ati hii chanjo, ati ng'ombe itakosa kunyamba. Sasa mimi nauliza jameni. Kwani sisi wote ambao sisi tumekuwa vaccinated, kuna mtu amekosa kunyamba kwa sababu alikuwa vaccinated? What kind of nonsense are we engaged in? Honestly, I mean, please, give us a break.
Lakini kama iko hiyo sindano ama chanjo ya kusimamisha kunyamba, nafikiri idungwe watu wenye wananyamba mambo ambayo hawaelewi. Mtu hana ng'ombe ananyamba ati chanjo sijui ni ya kuzuia mnyambo ya ng'ombe. Si hao watu ndio wanafaa chanjo? Wachanjwe wasichanjwe? Si umesikia hao Sudi amesema hapa? Wewe huna mbuzi, huna ng'ombe, hujui fisi na mbuzi, hujui umbwa na mbuzi, lakini ukisikia jambo ambalo litasaidia mwananchi wa kawaida, wewe ndio uko mstari wa mbele kunyamba maneno ambayo hayasaidii mwananchi.
That's William Ruto exploding on Kalonzo Musyoka and Rigathi Gachagua's allies for opposing the livestock vaccination. The biggest question is, why is William Ruto angry and bitter with Kenyans for opposing the livestock vaccination? In my view, Kenyans are opposed to the vaccination because that's the opinion I'm getting online. Because either, number one, they've consumed misinformation. Number two, the government probably has failed to explain to Kenyans why their animals need to be vaccinated. The truth of the matter is that a few months ago, President William Ruto announced to the country that there are plans to vaccinate 22 million cattle and 50 million goats and sheep. And William Ruto gave two main reasons why they wanted to vaccinate the livestock. The first one was to prevent diseases. But they failed to explain to Kenyans the specific disease they wanted the vaccines to deal with. Number two, William Ruto also explained to Kenyans that they wanted to secure international markets for livestock products. For example, he argued that Kenya cannot export, for example, meat outside of the Republic because of some restrictions which can only be solved through the vaccination. But Kenyans are opposed to that plan. I want you guys to listen to one of Rigathi Gachagua's allies opposing this vaccination. He comes from the Maasai community. And we know the Maasais and their cows.
Kama tuko na foot and mouth, mimi naendaga kwa veterinary na mwambia kuja unidungie ng'ombe yangu. Why are you forcing a special vaccine created by Bill Gates, funded 80% by the same person, na unataka kutuambia ni lazima tuchukue hiyo vaccine? Your Excellency, you want to introduce genetic implants. It is dangerous to the product ya maziwa na pia na pia hao wazungu wanasema hivyo, wao wenyewe hawadungi ng'ombe yao, wanasema ng'ombe wa Afrika ndio iweze kudungwa. Hiyo itakuwa ni sawa kweli? Mutigetekere ng'ombe cianyu ithecwo mau nĩ maheni na ni uhoro wa ungumania. Tuhamagina hau. Nikienda kumalizia, tunaenda msimu wa Christmas.
But why is William Ruto angry and bitter? From the tone of his language, clearly William Ruto lost his cool and temper. Why is he bitter and angry? That's exactly what I want to explain to you guys on this particular channel. But before you do that, for those who are watching this channel for the first time, please take a second or two, click the subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support. Because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is. Ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, allow me to dive in. But again, before I dive in, allow me to also take this opportunity to introduce you guys to Lemfi. Lemfi is a mobile money app for users in the UK, Canada, and the United States of America to send money back to Kenya. They offer the best exchange rates and the money will be delivered instantly into your M-Pesa account, Airtel Money account, and of course, if you want, directly into your bank account. You can use the link in the pinned comment to download the app. Ladies and gentlemen, let us dive in. Why do you think William Ruto is angry and bitter over the livestock vaccination? Because for me, I don't understand why William Ruto should be bitter and angry. Because if I were William Ruto, I'd do one thing. I'd embark on information, informing Kenyans, explaining to them why they need the animals to be vaccinated in a way that Kenyans can clearly understand. In an era of internet, there is no way you can cheat Kenyans. So it's just important for him to tell them why they need the vaccine, the kind of the disease they want the vaccine to prevent. Otherwise, without doing that, William Ruto is still going to be very angry and bitter. But the question is, why is William Ruto angry and bitter? Number one, William Ruto is banking on the support of the pastoral communities for his 2027 re-election bid. The pastoral community in the Republic of Kenya voted for William Ruto in the last election. The explanation is that they were going to buy that idea of vaccination of livestock. What is happening today is that the way the leaders are talking, it's making a lot of sense to the pastoral community. And one of them, Ledama Olekina, had this to say in front of the deputy president.
Mimi mheshimiwa deputy president, kwa heshima, Ledama amesema ng'ombe yake haitadungwa. Na mimi naomba tuachane na hii maneno ya kudunga masindano ng'ombe, kwa sababu sisi tunatumika kama guinea pigs. Bill Gates anazunguka huko akidunga mang'ombe ya watu ati kwa sababu ng'ombe na nyamba. Si endelea tu kunyamba. Mimi Ledama nikidungwa sindano na nisiponyamba sindakufa. Na mimi nakuomba tu kwa heshima, we agreed to disagree and agree. We will agree where we agree in principle. We disagree where we find there are issues. I've lived in America for many years. Mimi nataka kuona hao America.
And clearly, that's why William Ruto is angry and bitter. So that's number one. Number two, it's also evident that Kenyans are finding Kenya Kwanza policies anti-people. For example, there was the finance bill. Kenyans opposed. William Ruto was very angry. Several other policies like the funding model for the education and many others. Kenyans have been opposed to them. In fact, there are some which have passed through parliament, but even William Ruto himself knows that Kenyans are opposed to them. You talk of is it the chief or the Shah or the Shisha? Kenyans are all opposed to them. So William Ruto is angry because it's not clear that none of his policies are being accepted easily by Kenyans. So if I were William Ruto, I'll not begrudge Kenyans. I'll simply go back to the drawing board and figure out why are Kenyans opposed to almost each and every policy I'm trying to implement. Am I not doing enough public participation? Because, for example, on this vaccination, if public participation were conducted involving members of parliament, if William Ruto had met with members of parliament, for example, from the pastoral communities, and explained to them, would have gone to the ground and explained to them, then things would have been different. Because I remember during the campaigns, there are certain things William Ruto promised the pastoral community. He has not done them. Then he comes with the vaccine. And, the other side is coming and telling them, if you do this, your animals will not fat. Number 3, there is also something which I think it could be misinformation. There is the Bill Gates politics in Kenya. There is something which Kenyans just don't like about Bill Gates as a result of misinformation. And the fact that there's this perception that this vaccine is being pushed through the Bill Gates Foundation, naturally it means that Kenyans were going to oppose it. Number 4, I think Ruto has realized that this vaccine is providing Kalonzo Musyoka and Rigathi Gachagua some campaign platforms, especially in the pastoral communities. The people down there are buying what they are saying. William Ruto is being seen as someone who is out just to hurt their livestock. Remember, there is no way you can separate the Maasai from his cow. Traditionally, these guys have lived with these cows for years without vaccination. Then you just wake up, their problem has always been water. You can't solve the water issue for them, for their cows to drink, but you can easily come up with vaccination. It doesn't make sense to them. And lastly, I think William Ruto is also just generally frustrated. Things are not working for him. And as a result of that, he's angry and is bitter. Ladies and gentlemen, what advice would you give to the president? Let me read those advice in the comment section. Allow me to also thank those who have responded to my nyombo. At least some 3-4 guys have reached out to me. One from the diaspora will attend. I've given him a card. So you can also support me to make the day memorable. Ladies and gentlemen, until next time, this is Lee Makwiny. Bye-bye.
Members of the public know that the government intends to vaccinate the 21 million livestock or cattle and about 50 million sheep and goats coming January. That's our plan. Why do we do that? And it has been elaborated before, is that we would like to have a common approach as a country to the diseases, especially foot and mouth, and another one for sheep and goat called PPR. Because what has been happening in the past is that counties, because of the outbreaks, there is an outbreak in one county, they vaccinate, but the next county doesn't vaccinate. So, and there is a lot of movement with cattle and the livestock. So it becomes a waste of resources because one county vaccinates, the other one doesn't vaccinate. So it needs a coordinated approach so that we are able to, for instance, the foot and mouth, to make sure that it is eradicated or it comes to a minimum. Because some of these diseases, for instance, the foot and mouth, restrict us from trading with even animals in export markets. If we are not declared foot and mouth or disease-free zone, then some markets are not available for you, especially European Union and others. So we would like to have a common approach, make sure that even our animals are safe, that the animals, the public is also secured, that the meats and the livestock products are also safe. So there is no ulterior motive, and I would like to urge the members of the public that come January, let us engage and have the livestock vaccinated or in a coordinated manner. The other aspect I would like to say is that the vaccines we are using are procured and 100% will be made in Kenya, and they have been made in Kenya since the last 12 years.